Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. So today we're going to make a flower wreath that you could use for summer or add a brown center and make it for fall. It's that versatile. But what makes this wreath so special is the mesh. This mesh was designed by my friend Michelle of A Noble Touch. And you know what? This is just one of many things to come for her. So make sure you watch the video. Make sure to go follow Michelle and make sure to get this mesh because it's in limited supply right now. But this mesh is so beautiful. So let's get started and make a beautiful wreath. Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. Today is a very special day for a couple of reasons, okay? So here's the talking hands. But let me show you something that we're going to use today. This is a very special mesh. And this was designed by one of my dearest friends here on earth, Michelle Noble of A Noble Touch. She designed this. She is a master of deco mesh wreaths and just being able to combine colors to make these most beautiful wreaths out there with deco mesh. So she designed this mesh with Mel's Crafty Mojo, and she calls this the Noble Sunset. So basically we are going to use her mesh in this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link for Michelle's videos down in the description box below. I'm also going to let you know that you can get this for a very limited time, okay? These are in limited quantity. So if you want this mesh, you better order it today, okay? It will be back in stock, but we're not really sure when it will. But this is a very special mesh. So we're going to use some orange poly burlap, and we're going to use one of these wreath frames that I got from Mel's Crafty Mojo. Very good quality, 10 inches. And you're going to see a link for Mel's Crafty Mojo. And for this video, I want you to use Michelle's coupon code for you guys for an extra 10% off of $35 or more. And that is all in the description box below, and I'll put it on the screen here. But I love this mesh, and I'm going to show you kind of how to versatilely use this in a way that you could use it. You can make it for summer, then change out the center if you'd like, and put a brown center in it and have it for fall. So let's do a summer fall wreath, and we're going to do it with this frame. So let's get started. I'm so excited. Okay, so the first step is cutting our mesh. You always know that I use a wood burner. Whenever working with poly burlap and deco mesh and some fabric mesh, I use a wood burner. So I have my glass cutting board and I have all of my tools. Remember, you can get all of these from my Amazon shop. Link is in the description box below. So basically, we are going to cut out 15 pieces of this. We're going to cut out 10 inches wide. This is a 10-inch wide roll. I'm going to use my wood burner, and that is the tip that I like to use. And you're going to want to wear a mask when you're doing this because, you know, it just sets off some fumes and you just want to be careful. You can never be too careful. So I'm going to cut 15 of these, and then I'm going to cut, a whole roll, I think, of the new mesh. So I'm so excited for Michelle. She has such an amazing ability to put colors together. And let me tell you, if you're not subscribed to her channel, you're going to want to go get subscribed. So let me get out the other mesh and we will cut that one too. Okay, so when you get out the deco mesh, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. So it's a little hard to see on camera here, but that's okay. You're going to cut as well as you can between the lines. If you can't get it really between the lines, that's okay. But I'm going to do my best. And when I do this, it kind of curves over. But that is the beast of deco mesh. Sometimes you're going to go over, but it does stretch a lot. So that's okay. So I'm just going to kind of line it up the best I can here. Because deco mesh, I've always said, has a mind of its own. I think that's why I like working with poly burlap so much, but I know that's not for everybody. So cut out a whole roll. We'll have a final count of how many petals that we used. Oops, I didn't cut that very good. At the end of this video, so stay tuned. I'm so excited to use Michelle's mesh. I think it's absolutely amazing. So the next step is getting our frame ready. We're going to take a 10-inch wreath frame. You can use a bigger frame or a smaller frame. Just know that you'll need either less for a smaller frame petals or more if you use a 12-inch. But you can definitely do it. So I would say if you were doing a 12-inch, you're probably going to want about 18 to 20 petals on the outside that we're getting ready to do with the orange. So cut this out, and then you're going to attach it to the inside ring with zip ties. Okay, so now let's get to the fun part. Let's make the wreath. So we're going to take our 10-inch petal here. I'm going to do finished sides on the sides this time because I'm going to show you why. I'm going to make a triangle, and then I'm going to just fold in one side here and then fold in the other, and then I'm just going to make a, what do you call it? I can't think of it. Julie, what? Gather it. I couldn't think of it. So basically this is a Dean Michael petal design. I just decided to fold it over a little bit because I feel like if I can hide a little bit of this, I can help the fraying issue with most wreaths. You're going to have some sort of fraying. That's why we use the wood burner. So I'm going to take my zip tie here, and I'm going to start on a bracket, and this is a cross bracket. Let me show you what I mean. So you've got bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, and bar 4, and then you have the cross bracket. So what I like to do is I like to put that over there like so, okay? So this is going to be like the background for this beautiful mesh, all right? We're going to kind of start with this, and then we're going to keep going, all right? So now I'm going to put one right here, all right? And if this one is like going a different direction, the easiest way for me is to take another zip tie and to do the crisscross and make an X, and that will straighten out your petal. Now if you look at my petal, I kind of like the look of that. It's kind of separating, so I might just kind of go with that right now. So let's see, let's start our another petal here. Make your triangle, fold in, and then gather. All right, so when we put it on here, we kind of want it to overlap the other one just ever so much. All right, and I'm going to separate them a little bit because I kind of like that little edge that it's creating. So what we're going to do basically is we're going to put 2 petals inside the bracket and 1 petal on the cross wire there. So that should be 15 if I have my math correctly. Let's see. So you're just going to do the same technique and then just gather, flip it over, put it on your form here. Another reason why today is special is this is the last day that I will be making wreaths in this area that I make wreaths in. We have bought a new house, and if you saw last week's video and learned a cool foil painting technique, I'm going to be using that technique soon. You would have heard that I told you guys that we bought a house and we're gonna build a studio. So if you're wanting to know everything crafty is like organization, you want to see me do it, make sure you're following me. So another thing you could do is you could go ahead and start your zip tie off like that too. I see many crafters doing that. So again, let's do this. And then that'll get us started off on the right direction. See how that's a little like 2-petaled? That's okay. I want it that way. Sometimes there are happy accidents, and I feel like this is one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at these and now kind of move them so that everything is centered, okay, within the bracket. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing exactly what I did here on that second bar, and I'll be back and we'll start with this beautiful mesh. Okay, so this is the first layer. We used 15 of these petals for a 10-inch wreath frame, and I really like separating these little daisy petals. I just feel like it's going to give it a little bit more of a texture look. So now we're going to work on bar 3, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to go, it's going to be a little tight squeeze, but we're going to go in between each of these orange petals. All right, so basically what I want to do is I want to grab one of my zip ties, okay, and you're going to just lay it in there like so. All right, that's on bar 3. Remember that. You're going to take your deco mesh that Michelle designed. I just think it's amazing. And we're not going to fold anything over on this one. All right. We're going to do this a little differently because deco mesh is a little different. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to gather it from point to point. Okay. And then I'm going to do my single petal method where I take the left petal and lay it over the right petal. Okay. We'll do this again. We'll do this a couple of times. And then I'm going to attach it right here. You could probably even do, let's see, you could probably even do the 4-inch zip ties if you wanted to. So let's take another one. So I'm going to have it like so. Let me move this over just a little bit so you can see, okay? So we're kind of dealing it at an angle, and I'm just going to gather it from one point to the next here, okay? All right, see that? And then when I bring it over, again, the left petal over the right petal so that we can be really consistent with our colors here. And that's what I want to do the most. I think this will lay really pretty. So I'm just going to keep doing the same method. So the curl side is up, okay? All right, so I'm going to, basically what I'm doing is the red side down here is where I'm starting. The brown side is up here. And what's beautiful about this mesh, if you don't, if you're not drawn to the orange, you could use the yellow, you could use the red, you could use the brown. It's really up to you. This is why having this ombre mesh is so versatile, and they don't sell a lot of this anymore. When we first started making wreaths together, so I'm going to make sure that that brown is overlapping that red so that we can have that beautiful color kind of stick out. But when Michelle and I first started making wreaths and we met each other online, she could find this ombre mesh, and for some reason they kind of stopped selling it. I think she used to get it at Walmart or something like that, but she had to do different things, and she always wanted to come back. So she's working on a line of mesh, and this is just the beginning, guys. It's going to be amazing. So if you're not following A Noble Touch, you need to be following A Noble Touch. So she makes the most beautiful deco mesh wreaths. And of course, I had to add some of my poly burlap in it. So I'm just going to keep going, guys. So you're going to need 15 petals here. We might get into a second roll of this mesh. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm excited at how beautiful this is going to be. I'm just looking on the screen at how beautiful this mesh is. It is absolutely stunning. So there's two things you can go from here. I'm going to add another layer of poly burlap, and then we're going to add one more layer of this beautiful mesh. So basically what I'm going to work on is we're going to just stick really close to that inside wire, okay? We're going to put it on the canvas, but we're going to use the poly burlap. So let's just do the same petal technique that we used for the orange. I cut out 10 of these, kind of hoping that 10 will work because I don't have much of this mesh left. And I told you, I'm moving, guys, and everything is packed up. So I'm going to just take that and see how that kind of has a little 2-tip petal there. That's what I want. So I'm going to take my zip tie here. I probably should have done this before I made my petal, but I didn't. I got ahead of myself, but that's okay. So I'm just going to put that's where the plastic canvas comes in really handy. So now I'm just going to put it right here. Oops, it's backwards. You know, there's a right way and a wrong way to use your zip ties, and I just did it the wrong way. So let me try this again. It's all right. All right. I'm going to put it right here. And so now we're going to add 10 more of these, or 8, we'll see. So I'm going to kind of keep them, but basically I want to make sure that these zip ties are all covered. So that's kind of why I'm doing this here. And I just think it'll kind of add some richness to the overall look. So I'm going to skip over here a few, as you can see. Okay, I don't have my glasses on. Okay, there we go. Put another one, do the same petal. You're just going to make a triangle, fold over, and gather, flip over, and kind of, you know, separate them and put it like that. So I don't need these to really overlap each other. We just want them to kind of do their job, and that is to cover the zip ties. So keep following and we'll get to the end here soon, but I think this is going to be so pretty. I'm so excited. Okay guys, that's looking beautiful. Let's see, we use 9 petals in the middle, not 10. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between each of those spaces that we created, and I'm going to put my zip ties in first because we're going to do something. We're going to double up these petals here to give that richness to this. So see how they're going to stick up like that? So I want you to do that next. Go through and just add your zip ties, and then I'll be right back and we'll have all our zip ties in there, okay? And they'll be ready to go. Okay, so you can see I have all of my zip ties there. You're going to have to pay really close attention because you don't want to zip tie the wrong zip ties together. So let's just do our original petal, and we're going to gather it. All right. You can do 1 or you can do 2. It's really up to you. But since I have the mesh, you might need 2 rolls of the mesh to make this happen. But since I have 2, I'm going to go ahead and see, because that's really what I need is 18 petals in the middle. So I know I'm doing this really I'm holding on to one. So you're going to add 2 together. Okay, so we're going to make our little, you got the red, the brown, the red, and then the yellows peeking through and the orange. Okay, so I'm going to take both of these, and I'm going to just lay that in there on one zip tie. So then we're not using multiple zip ties, and we're going to get the most for our buck here. Okay, so I think that's really pretty. So you could do just 1 if you only have 1 roll of mesh, or you could double it up. So I'm double mine up. So this is where I would use those chip clips, but of course everything's packed away. So I'm going to have to do this without the chip clips today. So red at an angle here, brown at an angle here, and I'm just going to gather, flip, and make your single petal. So what you could do is we'll take my little scissors and we'll set them over there. No, that's not going to work. I'm just going to keep holding it, guys. And I'm going to just, see, deco mesh loves to have a mind of its own. All right. So it's the same petal I showed you at the beginning. All right. But we're going to put them together. And I'm going to pay really close attention to which zip tie is which here. Yep, that's working. And then make sure everything is laying the way it's supposed to lay. I'm going to get this brown one, put it over the red. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. I'm so excited to see this when it's all finished. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do for the center. You know me, if you've been watching me at any length of time, Julie always changes her mind. So what did I do? I decided we need leaves. So I'm going to cut out 5 10-inch leaves here out of this olive green that I still have. That's not been packed for my new studio. So we're going to use it. So we're going to cut 5 of these guys, and then we'll be back and we'll put it together. All right. I don't know about you, but this is beautiful. Okay. I love it. I love this mesh. Again, use the links in my description box. Use the A Noble Touch. I'll have it down here on the screen for an extra 10% off of $35 or more. All the links will be in the description box to order this mesh, okay? So let's flip it over. Very gently. I'm just going to lay it here, okay? And we're just going to do our normal, if you've watched me for any period of time, I just take a zip tie and I kind of go by the bracket. So here's the bracket, the cross bracket here, and here's a zip tie. And then I'm just going to make a single petal. I'm going to just take it and go like so. And just a little bit of this will probably show through, and that's okay. We don't need it to have to be, actually, you know what? We're going to do it underneath. It has been that long since I've made one of these flower wreaths. Oh my goodness, Julie. It's been a busy summer, guys. I've been busy. So let's just grab it, and we're going to kind of put it underneath here. But I want to make sure that it sticks out a little bit, okay? So I'm going to just take it, and I'm going underneath the wire wreath frame here, simply because I don't want it to get too bulky on top. All right, so I'm going to pull it, and this is where you can kind of pull your poly burlap a little bit, which is good. All right, and then I'm going to take the zip tie. Now, normally at the end of this, I would cover this with felt, but I don't have felt right now. That's okay. So I'm going to go over to the next bracket, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so sometimes it's kind of hard to see, but you can see just a little tip of these leaves. If you want them to come out farther, you could cut them at 11 inches, but they will be, I don't know, they won't be the right angle. So I kind of typically like to keep them at the 10 inches. So this way we've got a little bit of the green in here. So what we're going to do for the middle, and this is where you can use this for summer or you can use it for fall. I have one of these yellow flower centers that I already had put in wire, and I had put over felt and some pins. But if you took the yellow out and put a brown one in for fall, it would look amazing too. So we're going to just use this because, again, I just told you guys a little bit earlier is I have packed up my studio here in this house, and we're going to be in a much larger studio at the next house, and it's being kind of built right now. So it's kind of exciting. So make sure you're following me because I want all any suggestions you have for crafting organization, I want to know. So I've pulled this through. So now we're just going to twist it. So if you've made it this far in the video, would you leave me some sort of fall emoji? And if you don't have the emojis, just put in fall. But make sure to go give my friend Michelle of A Noble Touch some love. Go make sure to subscribe. Watch her videos. Okay, we're going to flip this over, and boom, you have a beautiful wreath. I am so excited about this wreath. I really, really love this mesh. And you guys, you need to stay tuned because Mel's Crafty Mojo is the only place you're going to be able to get this mesh. So if you want it, you better get it now. It's going to be gone soon. And then we're going to have to wait for the next shipment. So I love this, Michelle. You did an amazing job putting these colors together. I can't wait to see what else you come up with. So make sure you go get your mesh. All the links are in the description box below. Leave me a fall emoji, and we will see you next Sunday night here on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Bye-bye.